in terms of storm damage, it can cause a number of different hazards in our local area. And we've already seen some of those hazards come into play from these storms earlier on this week. Here to give us some more insight on some safety steps that we can take to address that storm damage and keep ourselves safe going forward is Captain Michael Wood from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Captain Wood, thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this because it is a significant time for our community dealing with this storm damage, as so many other communities are. So let's start off with where the fire department comes into play and all of that. How does your department prepare itself for these sorts of moments, knowing severe weather is coming in and you may need to be out in the field significantly to help clear and protect people from hazards?
Well, the first part is obviously life safety, not only for the fire department crew, but also for the citizens. So people paying attention to the weather alerts, having a weather radio in the house is always an awesome idea. Battery powered one as well, that when the power goes out, the radio will still alert. We do training on the fire department on how to handle excess calls. We're a giant team, not only with the fire department, but also with our dispatch and our police department. So when all those 911 calls start coming into our dispatch center, they get overburdened with all the different types of calls. So we see that overburden and we try to help them out. We start taking all those wires down, the trees down, and we'll start dispatching and worrying about what trucks, what personnel to send to different locations. So it kind of eases dispatch up for the emergencies of medicals, fires, drownings, all that other higher priority things.
In a situation like this, Captain Wood, where we had so much high winds that caused a lot of storm damage, whether it's down trees or significant branches, power lines also coming into play. What have been some of the more significant challenges or hazards that have been presented by this particular storm's damage?
So just the amount of trees down, the trees that are blocking the roads, that's our largest concern, not only for getting in and out of neighborhoods for the residents and for the fire department, but at nighttime, you don't want to come around a corner doing 45 miles an hour and here's a tree across the road in the dark when it's wet. You're not going to see it. So our major goal is opening up roads, clearing the paths so that people can travel safely. This storm, we had a lot of down trees. We had a lot of down wires, mostly caused by tree branches falling and pulling the wires off the poles. Let's see, what else did we have? We had boats get knocked loose on different lakes, possible missing persons on lakes. All of them were handled quickly and investigated, and luckily there was no injuries, no loss of life in West Bloomfield, so that's a good thing. Everybody did very well.
And it's a really good time too because of the circumstances of this damage, particularly those trees falling down. You did mention some power line issues. We did have a power line that was struck in the Sylvan Glen area of our community that did spark into a fire that was shown earlier on in our program. So for residents that are in those areas that do experience storm damage, they see a down branch, they see it's in the area of a power line, how should they first address that to A, see if it is affecting their power line, or B, to address any safety hazards that may come with an interaction between a branch, a tree, and a power line?
Right. So really, you want to be able to look at the telephone poles, the power poles, and trace all those wires that are coming off of that, making sure that they stay in the air. If you see a wire coming in and it's not going out on the other side, it kind of tells you, okay, it's somewhere, and it's somewhere down on the ground. Stay away and just report that. Let us come in and investigate it, and then we can even turn that over. We always do turn it over to Edison to investigate it more, or to not Edison, I'm sorry, Detroit Edison. Yeah, Detroit Edison.
Yeah. Oh, please continue.
Yeah, and then if you're out of power, generators. Generators are a wonderful thing, but they're also a sneaky thing. They produce carbon monoxide, and the exhaust from that, you got to make sure that the generator is the furthest away from your house as possible, with the exhaust pointing away from your house. Having it in your garage with your garage door open is not a good idea. You got to get it outside and then manually close your garage door down to just above where that extension cord is coming in. That way the exhaust fumes do not come into the house and they stay outside. Carbon monoxide is no joking matter. Yes, you can smell the exhaust from the generator, but carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless, tasteless. You just don't know that. So that also leads into carbon monoxide detectors in the house. Having the battery-powered carbon monoxide detectors is an absolute must if you have any gas-powered equipment that you're going to be running.
All good advice during this time as we reflect on storm damage from earlier on this week that caused significant numbers of branches that were down, trees that fell across our community, and a significant number of power outages. So a really good point with those generators if people are using them to keep those precautions in place so that, look, you have your power back on, and you've resolved that problem for now, but you don't want to create more of those problems down the line. Captain Michael Wood is with us from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. More helpful tips from the fire department can be found on their Facebook page, facebook.com/WB Fire Department, or you can visit them on their website at WBTownship.org. Captain Wood, in terms of power outages, we know that they can cause a number of hazards for people that remain in their homes or do not have those generators, either A, from within their home, or even those devices as power may be coming on and off in the coming days as DTE addresses these power outages across our community and beyond. What steps should people be taking in their homes to keep themselves safe while the power is out and while that power is being restored?
So something I do at my house, I unplug all the TVs. I love my TVs. We've invested money in them. I don't want to see those get affected by a brownout or by surges. So I get those TVs unplugged, even though they're in a surge protector, one of those outlets, those strip outlets. Other things, checking on neighbors, making sure your neighbors are okay, seeing if they have any needs. If you're the one that has a generator, offer them a helping hand with, maybe taking some of their perishables and keeping them in your refrigerator so that they have less loss for their items. That's really it. Just checking on neighbors.
And then lastly, Captain Wood, if people have more questions, if they're concerned about things that may be happening in their community, maybe aren't necessarily emergencies, but are things that are a cause for concern, what steps should they then take to get in contact with the fire department and maybe address some of those issues?
Any concern, call 911. That's what we're here for. Sorry, I got a bunch of alarms going off.
That's okay.
So,
Action-packed day for the fire department, so we understand. Please continue.
It is. It's been a busy night and probably going to continue to be a busy day. But call 911. We're here. We're available. It may take us a little bit of time to get to you. But if it's a higher priority call, we'll get there pretty quick. We're good at navigating through traffic, through down trees, and we'll get there. And we'll check up on you and see what we can do to help. That's our goal. We want to help our citizens. We want to help our citizens stay in a happy place and take that burden off their shoulders. Let us take it and navigate through the problems together.
Captain Michael Wood with us from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. We appreciate your time. We know it's a busy day, a lot to get to help our residents in our local area and clear a lot of this storm damage. We'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.